outlining her small form and pulling on the surface of the table where both her arms rest. Of course. Hello, welcome back to the letter. We're going to continue. Chief dismissed me barely an hour later, sending me off with nothing but a light pat and another sorry expression. I'm not entirely sure if that's supposed to be reassuring. There's plenty more to do, a lot of people to call and tell, and all of it falls on me. No matter how awful the news I may be, or bring me, it'll be better if this comes from a person his family and friends know. Oh, right, now I remember what happened last night. Still, my body refuses any notion of movement. The thought of telling Isabella about this, she'll definitely be devastated. I don't even want to imagine what his grandparents will say. They're good, kind, warm-hearted people who has given me another family even without me asking for it. They welcomed me, invited me every time, so easily reminded me of what having a whole home feels like. Thought I've already forgotten it. Zach's older sister will definitely show up in my apartment, though, ring my doorbell and punch me as soon as I open the door, just like the last time. She's right. I'm the kind of person who brings nothing but trouble. She knows all along that Zach should have stopped hanging out with me, warned him several times. Zach has often laughed her concerns off. I used to think it's because he enjoys the friendship as much as I do, despite a huge part of it going unspoken between us throughout the years. Now he's dead. Another person brutally taken from me. Thought I had more time. I thought he'd be safe. I acted too late. And in the deafening sounds of my car, the only thing I'm able to do is close my eyes, rest my forehead against the cold surface of the steering wheel and scream. Scream until my throat bleeds raw. Scream until my lungs burn. Scream until all that remains are guilt and tears. The sun hangs lower when I drive back to the pub and drag myself inside, still too unsure how to break the news. Around this time, the patrons usually start to trickle into the main lounge until it reaches a peak around midnight. Today, however, it remains thin. But considering what day it isn't too worrisome for the kind of business she runs. He has always complained about the lack of a decent crowd and weak start, although he doesn't really begrudge his customers for it. No one wants to start the week with a bad case of a hangover after all, even him. Which makes the concerned look he gives me come off a bit too odd. With the kind of danger we're in after what happened to Zach, this swiftly puts me on the edge, even before I can fully process and analyze the scene in front of me.
Something wrong, G?
G hums, but there's an undertone of annoyance in it despite his casual, open movements. Only after he finishes wiping the tumbler and carefully settles it face down on the counter does he give me an answer. The way he stares back at me honestly makes me squirm. It feels like I'm being stared down by my primary school teacher for sleeping in class again.
Nothing much. Monday's still a slow day for this place. But you might want to check on your friends, kid.
Yeah, you probably should.
Looks like someone woke up on the wrong side of the bed while you were out.
Oh wait, is she there? Another question forms in my head along with a small confused frown. Well, before a single syllable slips past my mouth, he gestures his head on the far side of the main lounge. Isabella has been settled on one of the tables, set in the corner in deep thought and with a scowl on her face. From the looks of it, it appears woke up on the wrong side of the bed is a complete understatement. Without sleep isn't what some of us need. Even G appears to understand it, in spite of his efforts to look as unconcerned as possible. That's a tense sit on his shoulders. Nervous edge lingers on his eyes as it occasionally flickers over Isabella. I don't want to deal with this, especially at the start of another busy week. Not that I know how, I don't even know what put her in such a bad mood. But the imploring gaze she directs at me leaves me with no other choice. It almost feels like he's guiding me into doing something about it. I hate that it's working.
You know how I run this pub, kid. No fist fights, no cat fights, no people in sullen moods, only good booze, bad puns, and off-key singing. Go fix it before it turns into something chaotic.
It's probably not as petty if Isabella's already in that state, but I give him a nod.
Sorry about this, G.
He hums something under his breath for an answer and waves me off, turning away and returning to his work without another word. Even with the lack of a sizable crowd, he likes to keep busy. We're the same in that regard. Can't remain still, always has to stay moving, doing something, thinking, whatever keeps the brain work. I leave him to it shortly after. Part of me wants to thank him for all the trouble he's taken for people he barely even knew. But once this is all over, I should probably find some way. In the meantime, I have this immediate problem to fix. Gotta get to this before it turns into a shitstorm. There's a strange lull in this area of the pub. People continue to trickle out instead of in, and this time only 2 tables remain occupied. Soon these people too will be gone, and the whole place will be devoid of anyone. Frankly, its current state already lends to the place an entirely different vibe, along with the soothing strum of the strings and steady beat of drums playing overhead. Becoming sense to this. A far cry from times I've been here before, and perhaps it's for this reason why Isabella has chosen this place to retreat. She sits quietly in the furthest corner of the room, in one of the tables set right beside the windows. She usually keeps the curtains closer in this hour, but a small portion of it has been pulled back, revealing the busy streets outside. The late afternoon spills right through it, outlining her small form and pooling on the surface of the table, where both her arms rest. Of course. In her hand, she flips a piece of folded paper, turning it from one side to the other without any purpose. The letter. A small frown creases on her forehead while she stares at it, yet there's something oddly tranquil in the picture she has unknowingly painted. So then I can't bring myself to just stare at it only for a few seconds. It's one of those moments again. The rare ones, the ones where she's too still, too quiet, the complete opposite of her usual self. But it's these that often leave a mark. Not her cheery disposition or her lively attitude, but these short few seconds of wordless silence, where the softest sighs, the slightest movements sing louder, the smallest minuscule things to tell you about the person and her strength more than any words can express. It's these that carve a vivid memory, no matter how brief it lasts. And it breaks soon enough, the second I pry the letter off her hands and it flops down on the empty seat next to her. She glares at me annoyed, and just like that, all of it melts away. Gone is the stillness, replaced quickly by the teasing and friendly jibes. Back again to what we're used to. That's what's easy, what's familiar. Where every truth we hope to convey regrettably goes unsaid between us.
You're going to destroy an important piece of evidence if you keep doing that, Belle.
This time, however, no retort comes from her. Without the letter to their dagger's edge, she turns on her hands and now clenched tight in front of her. But she's far from angry. A bit upset, maybe. Who wouldn't be? This curse has already gone far too long. He has already taken one too many people from us. Regardless, Isabella doesn't seem like she'll start shouting at me, at least compared to every other person I've aggravated, intentional or otherwise. Some light talk may just do the trick and coax her out of this mood.
Come on. If you keep staring at the table like that, you're going to bore a hole on it. I really don't want to OG a new table. He'll pick the most expensive one and leave me begging on the streets.
She levels a quick glance at me, her expression dry and impassive, enough to drain every color out of the room. It's as if I've just told her a terrible joke and she's expecting there will be more of it. Really now? She needs to give me more credit than that. My jokes are funny when I want them to be.
I really don't care. I'd even take pictures and post them online. Go away, Ash. I don't want to talk right now.
Aww. What's our relationship at right now? Yeah, it's pretty high, so... Yet it sounds half-hearted at best. Like what's happening has already sapped every bit of energy in her. All that's left are the words. Pretty soon those two will lose their meaning and leave a hollow shell in their wake. It's already unusual to see her like this. Everything's already gone to shit. I'd like at least this one thing to stay normal. So somehow we continue for the better half of the hour talking, joking with her short, feeble responses and banter that never goes anywhere. But it's enough. In the grand scheme of things, amidst the chaos and death shadowing over us, it's these little inconsequential moments that matter. It's her smile, her laughter when it finally rings easy and free of her burdens.
Okay, I have another one.
I don't want to hear it, Ashton. Go away.
No, really, listen. I know someone who talks like an owl.
Will you leave me alone if I bite and ask who?
A pause. And then she frowns as realization slowly dawns on her, confusion flashes fugitely across her face, before eventually settling on a grimace. Suddenly she hugs her arms closer to herself and looks away, perhaps in her best attempt to stay angry. To no avail. Under a second, her shoulders shake with laughter she's trying to contain.
You're awful, and I really hate you. Just leave.
It's contagious, her mirth. Soon I'm joining her in, briefly forgetting every problem that has piled up and continues to weigh us down on us. Laughing without reservation or care, until only a familiar warmth lingers once both our amusement ebbs away. Somehow, with her, these things have always come easy.
Feeling better?
A little. You're still lame.
But you're laughing right now.
Only because your humor is terrible.
Right. Keep telling yourself that. I know it's funny. And you know what? If you've kept frowning like that, your face might have cracked. That would have been really messy and ugly.
Hey, if glares can kill, with the one she sends my way, I will probably be dead by now. Seeing it directed my way, it only takes a few quick seconds for me to realize how she might have also taken my statement. How wrong or rude might have sounded in her ears, however unintentional it is. I've never been good with words, but that's never an acceptable excuse, is it? Certainly taking the brunt of her anger seems less complicated than correcting or explaining myself. Nevertheless, I try.
What? God, crap. Damn it, that was so not what I meant. I was just saying you look better when you're smiling.
Oh, wow. Her glare doesn't even wane. In fact, I think it intensified like a brewing storm. In the face of it, under the sharpness of her stare and her annoyance, I do what any person with a good sense of pity, self-preservation does. Keep my mouth shut and shift my attention somewhere elsewhere. The crowd outside looks very interesting today. Maybe I should...
Thanks, Ash.
Shudders all of it in a voice too small, too quiet. When I turned to her, only those words, her gratitude, resonate throughout the whole room. Not the soft clinking of silverware somewhere, nor the last strains of music fading into silence above us. Instead, it's the meaning behind her gaze, and as she holds mine, that lingers. Something unflinching and open, in the same way she looked at me all those years ago, with bright eyes and expression softening into a tender smile. I didn't understand it then. How easy for her to wear her heart on her sleeve. How she never shies away from expressing herself, even among people she barely knows. How can she go through everything without losing herself? How? Now it's among the hundreds and thousands that hang up unspoken between us. Trivial little things that's with worth still too big to put into words. Either because it's too early or because there's never really a proper time. But for now, though, this will do. Until the moment itself dwindles, until reality pulls us back in, reminding us of the things we've set aside in its favor.
What was that about earlier? You look like you're about to wage war on that letter.
Oh, it's nothing. You probably won't like it when you hear it.
Maybe. You haven't said anything yet, so how am I supposed to decide how to react?
A small frown returns to her face, although it lacks the same anger from just a few minutes ago. The bitterness stays. Now there's also uncertainty. It takes another minute until she speaks again. This time she doesn't meet my eye.
I was just thinking, maybe we should go back to the mansion.
Might be a good idea at this point. Blood freezes in my veins. Immediately before I can even think any further what to say, my mouth's moving, disapproval ready at the tip of my tongue.
Isabella, you know that's...
I know, Ash. I just thought we'd find something in there. That if I go back, we'll get the answers we need. I found the letter there, so maybe, right?
It's not that I don't agree with her. Hell, I've been considering the same thing. It's the only lead we have, after all, but it's not going to be a simple walk in the park. Who knows what we might find in there. If I bring her with me, I won't be able to guarantee her safety. She'll be in even greater danger. Hence, alone. If there's need to go back to that cursed place, I'm doing it on my own. Please don't. Please don't. Whether she agrees with this plan is inconsequential. With Zach and Rebecca gone, her well-being is my top priority, and I'm not just about to drag her in there with me. So I tell her as much, despite the determination and desperation in her eyes. If I say I can't let you do that, that seems like a guarantee that it's going to be a split-up thing. But I want them to go together. Truly want them to go together. I'll just say it's dangerous.
You're not going back to that mansion.
I mean, they both would have gone down, I think.
But Ash, what about...
This isn't up for debate. Do you really think they'll just let you in? Do you really think they'll give a damn if you walk in there carrying that stupid letter of all things?
No, but there has to be something we can tell them. Ash, they were with me during the open house. They have to know. They're in as much trouble as we are. They're living in that place. That ghost woman came from there. Both her and the letter. Something's in that house, Ash. And whatever it hides might be the only thing that'll get us out of this mess.
All right. Suppose you do find an answer there. What happens? Let's say that by some dumb luck, you got inside and found something. I don't even have to bring up what they did to Zach. In fact, what they'll do to you is the least of our problems. What if you see her again? What if she goes after you? What are you going to do?
It's not like we have any other choice. Besides, I'm pretty sure you've already thought of the same thing. Admit it.
That doesn't mean I'm going to let you run straight into trouble. What you're planning to do is risky for you. Give it up, Isabella. Zach's already gone, and if you...
My decision comes way too late, and my throat closes up as soon as I realize what had just slipped out of my mouth. Yeah, that was kind of a very blunt way to do that. There was supposed to be a speech, damn it. Or it's carefully picked to ease people into the idea of, especially her who has always seen Zach as a decent older brother she never had as family. The way her expression shifts from terror to disbelief then to anguish makes the horrible lump in my throat feel more unpleasant. There's sorrow in it, palpable enough as the meaning of what I've said sinks in, a pain I can't even hope to understand. One that we'll all deal with in our own ways. I can't even bring myself to look her straight in the eye. Unexpectedly, Isabella merely clams up, no resistance, no further argument like I've come to expect from her. She doesn't even shed a single tear. Uncharacteristic. There's a silence that stretches far too thin, till the air in the whole room grows awkward and suffocating. A standstill that'll get us nowhere. Although there's one thing our talk has wonderfully succeeded at, it's making me feel like a total asshole and a hypocrite. And I am considering my plans tonight. Sure, I can tell her, but what good would it do? I do not intend to tell G before leaving tonight. He has to know if he's going to be keeping an eye on her for me. One person is already enough, however. Now, simply letting someone in on the plan makes me iffy. Broadening that circle and revealing too much would just cause another pointless concern. Someone has to be aware, at least, of where I'm heading off to, in case things don't pan out. Expect the worst, even if I've only intended to do a quick survey of the place. And my own words risky. Isabella doesn't need to be burdened with the worry my entire scheme entails. I'd like to think that yes, to some extent she understands, even if she does not entirely agree with me. The dilemma is clear in her. Otherwise her scowl wouldn't have a deeper set to it. Her lips wouldn't be pressed on a thin line, or her hand would no longer be balled into fist. She would have pushed that argument. If she doesn't, and I know she has no lack of things to say. Maybe it's because she already thought of the same thing. Maybe my words have made her come to her senses. Either way, it's best we simply leave you here for now. I've already said enough. Without another word, I stand up. At the same time, footsteps shuffle from the pub's entrance, and cheerful chatter suddenly fills the room as a group of people enters. It's all the distraction I need. Muttering an excuse, I beat a hasty exit out of the main lounge and leave her on her own despite the disappointed look on her face. Before Isabella can say what she's been mulling over, before the last imploring glance she directs my way forces me to change my mind. It's an everlasting image that firmly etches itself in my memory, one that spurs the conscious, among other things. I just hope I won't regret what I've chosen for myself tonight. I feel like I fucked up somewhere. Galway Shaw's Monday night crowd, although small and barely occupies a quarter of the whole pub, provides ample enough cover for anyone who wishes to leave the place unnoticed. Just exactly what I need tonight. With the lively music and chatter slipping out, mostly unseen, becomes a piece of cake. Without much trouble, soon enough, I find myself standing outside under the chilly looks of night. A gust of wind picks up shortly after I step out, carrying the telltale smell of an impending rain. We have it about an hour or two before it starts. From the looks of it, tonight will be another downpour, maybe even stronger than the one we've had this morning. On instinct, I hunch further into my jacket, making its thick material close to my body while I weave my way through the lines of empty cars in the parking lot. The letter crinkles in my pocket with each step I take, though I pay it no mind as I hurry towards my car. I've nicked it minutes ago from Isabella's belongings on my way out. If this is all connected, I need this damn piece of paper with me. He took the letter. However ridiculous it sounds, I'm quite sure it won't be missed either. But I can't waste time here and wait for it to find out, can I? 4 hours is all I'm giving myself to get this done. Regardless of how generous that is, each second is just as important as the next. But As with every plan, problems crop up at the last second. It's practically a universal rule, and it does. The form of a lone figure waiting for me next to my car. Oh, okay. She's gonna make sure they go together. Thank you. I think so the relationship went down, but for one thing, I think it would have gone down with either choice. Isabella turns just as I near, her mouth curving up in a small smile. She offers no greeting, except for a shy tilt of her head. Even as my pace slows and I look at her with all the unvoiced questions in my eyes, she remains wordless, nearly throwing her head back and shifting her attention up at the starless sky when I come up to stand beside her. Another gust of wind blows as she breathes out a sigh, weary, thick with something close to resignation. The breeze carries all of it away while she hugs her arms closer to herself to keep warm, which raises the question why she's out here. The air's already heavy with the promise of rain, with clouds obscuring the view. There's really nothing left to look at but a dark blanket of nothingness. Yeah, that definitely looks like clouds up top there. I mean, I know they just use the same image over and over, but still. But still, they couldn't have added some clouds for this spot moment. I'm just saying. So she stands here as if she's intentionally waiting for everything to fall. That, or she's here for some other reason.
Well, I can't bring you with me.
I know. I won't ask you to.
Oh, god damn it.
Go back inside. G will keep an eye on you while I'm gone. You can trust him.
Don't worry. I will. In a while. I just want a bit of fresh air.
Well, don't stay out there too long. It's going to rain soon.
Damn it, they are gonna split up. I thought. Now, okay, the feeling of making a bad choice is back.
It'll probably be even heavier than the downpour we had this morning. You wouldn't want to be caught in it.
I give her a shoulder a reassuring squeeze before walking past her, heading to my car. No 2 steps further, though, something pulls the back of my jacket, catches the fabric in a firm grip, and halting my movements.
Isabella, I need to go.
She refuses to meet my eyes, but her hold remains tight. There's a worried crease between her eyebrows, and her lips quiver ever so slightly when she speaks. In a small voice brimming with a different kind of desperation I can't quite place.
Rebecca's gone. Zach too.
She draws in a breath, soft, slow, lined with enough sorrow that it hitches.
And if that thing takes you too.
The rest of it falters, but the meaning, the gravity, and each of her words rings loudly above the passing breeze, hanging over us, lingering in between. A small little thing that spurs me into silence, like the wind has suddenly been knocked out of me in one fell swoop. No words will form, not even a single coherent thought. So in place of it, in place of everything untold, I've taken the for granted. I draw her in, gently, quietly, pulling her against me to my arms huddled around her shoulders.
Ash?
For a fleeting second, she freezes, startled, and looks up to me with hesitation and a silent question in her eyes. Whatever answer she finds in mine, eventually she allows this. She holds herself into me, buries her face into my shoulder, and settles her arms on my sides, unsure, uncertain.
It'll be over soon. I'll figure it out. I'll find a way to get us out of this. But no matter what happens, I want you to promise that you will stay alive until then. Because if I lose you to her as well, I have no idea what else would keep me grounded.
When all has been said and done, I rest my forehead against hers, eyes closed and simply taking in her warmth. Desperation still clings, woven into every breath, every sign, but at the heart of it is this, her. The words are even said even as we part. But I let this be the last thing I commit to memory before slipping inside my car and driving off. Within 10 minutes, I'm driving out of Luxburn, heading straight for Onslow Village. In the distance, flashes of lightning light up the horizon, white and sharp against the black curtain of a night. Thunder threatens to rumble seconds later, echoing long across the sky. And with one last roar, the skies open in earnest. That was... Oh, it's because it's at midnight. Okay. I guess that ends this video for the letter. Next time, I guess we might be ending Luke's story. Maybe. Not Luke. Ashton's story. Not Luke's. We'll be going into Luke's, that one, after that one. Maybe. I think. Oh man, well, the last one had like shock and heavy emotional stuff. Like having the aftermath is always just as heavy. Okay. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, then subscribe. Check out other videos I've done. And see you next time. Bye bye.